welcome to the first ever episode of Tutorial Tingles. I'm really excited to embark on this new series with you guys, as well as some other new series that I have planned for the channel. And on that note, before we get started, I just want to say a huge thank you to my patrons. Those of you who have chosen to support my Patreon campaign and are helping to make this possible, helping to make it possible for me to do new stuff like this. I seriously cannot thank you guys enough, so thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna try and keep this introduction kind of brief because my upstairs neighbors seem to be playing some somewhat obnoxiously loud music. I don't want that to disturb you. However, I've already shot the next part of this video, so I can promise you that that won't be an issue for the rest of this video. So for today's tutorial tingles, I decided to show you a makeup look, and it's going to be this makeup look. Now I've had lots of requests and really sweet, nice comments. People asking me how I sort of achieve the look that I wear in most of my videos. It varies from time to time, but this is pretty much my standard go-to. So this is the look that I'm going to be showing you today. Now I am not a professional makeup artist, so some of what you see in the video may not be technically correct. It may not work for you, but they're just some little techniques that I've picked up and that have been working for me, so I thought I'd share those with you. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Just give me your feedback. Tell me what you liked, anything you didn't like, and of course, please make any requests for different topics for future tutorial tingles. So guys, I very much hope that you enjoy this first episode. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I have cleaned my face, and yeah, you always want to start any makeup routine with a nice fresh clean face, but I'm a little bit nervous about my clean face at the moment because I've never done a video without makeup on before, so a little scary, but maybe if I continue to do videos like this, I'll get used to it. Anyway, so I wanted to share with you real quick the products I used tonight to do my skincare, because that is an important part of any good makeup look. It always starts with the skincare. So this is the face wash that I used, and it's pretty inexpensive. It's the Aveeno Positively Radiant Skin Brightening Scrub, and I like this as an exfoliator because it does a good job of smoothing and getting off all the dead skin and whatnot, but it isn't harsh or abrasive on my skin. And I love the smell. It sort of smells like tea. It's really fresh kind of smell, and I like it a lot. And you can find this at drugstores and grocery stores for under $7, I think. So that's what I used to wash my face. Now, I don't recommend using an exfoliating face wash daily. Maybe a couple times a week, alternating it with like a cream cleanser if you have both. Because it's not advisable to exfoliate daily. I also toned. I used a toner. And this is also a very inexpensive brand, Orchid. And this one in particular is a witch hazel face toner. And it's very, very gentle and cool and refreshing. And it's not as harsh as some toners can be. But the smell may not be for everybody. The smell of witch hazel is, I don't know, it's not wonderful. So this is what I used as a toner. And you just put some on a cotton ball or a cotton pad and just swipe it a few times across your skin after you've washed your face. And then the last step that I think is most important is moisturizing. Now this is probably the most inexpensive or least expensive product of the three. It's just a really basic face cream that I think is an off-brand of Pond's Cold Cream, and it works just fine for me. It's kind of a windy night here this evening, so you might hear some wind rattling my windows and wind chimes. My upstairs neighbors have wind chimes. Some people find them relaxing, but I'm a little freaked out by the sound of wind chimes. They're kind of spooky to me. I don't know why. Okay, so all of those products were very, very inexpensive and are all available at the drugstore. And the reason I choose cheaper products is because that's what my budget allows for. And I'm very blessed to not have super problematic skin, so I don't have to be really particular about the products I choose. So that's nice. If you're not a wealthy person and you also don't require expensive products, then those will work just fine for you as well. Now, the first step of my makeup routine, following skincare of course, is concealer. Now, some people choose to apply concealer after their foundation, but I just like to do it before. That's how I learned how to do it. So the concealer that I've been using at the moment, and if you were hoping to see lots of kind of sort of fancy high quality makeup brands here tonight, then I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm a drugstore makeup kind of a girl. Now I guess if I could afford $30 for a lipstick, then I might go for the higher end products, but I like a bargain, as you all probably have learned about me by now. my first step is concealer, and I apply it under my eyes and also a little bit around my nose where some redness happens sometimes. And if I have any little red spots or blemishes, then just tap a little concealer on. I think my most problematic area, though, is my under eyes, because I definitely don't get enough sleep. So I have to cover that up a little bit. I tend to get kind of dark circles under there. And that is a common problem, even among young people, so there's no shame. Okay. So I just take a little bit of the product on the little sponge applicator. And what I like to do is work in dots instead of swipes to avoid streaks and lines. And I'm going to create a kind of triangle pattern in my under eye area. I'll show you. So here's the first part of the triangle, and I'll connect it from this corner. So from my outer corner to my inner corner, I create a triangle, and a little bit in the triangle as well. And this will help it blend really nicely with the rest of my makeup when I've applied it. So the way that I like to blend this out is just by using the tip of this finger. And I use this finger because someone told me at some point, and I don't even know if this is medically accurate. It probably isn't, but it might be. They told me that the pads of your ring finger on the tip of your finger are the like the softest and squishiest of your fingertips. And regardless of whether that's true or not, I just adopted that habit, and it hasn't really left me, so you can do it if you want. But just in case it is true, I keep it up. So I'm just going to blend in a tapping motion. Swiping is going to create lines, and you'll lose a little bit of the product. It'll come off on your fingers a bit more than patting. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's a little strange for me to do it slowly, because I'm used to tapping quickly like this. But try and slow it down. And I like how this distributes the concealer, but also creates a nice even look. It looks like it's just my skin. Okay, so now I'll do the same on the other side. I want to get a little bit of the product on the spongy wand. That's a little too much. Okay, And I'm going to create that triangle dot pattern again. So here we go. This is good too because I don't know if you can see, but just under my eye there's a little red spot right here. I'm not sure what it is, but I wanna cover that up. So I'm gonna create my triangle and include that little red spot right there. Okay. So I've got my triangle pattern. And I'm just going to tap the product. That was a big gust of wind. It was sleeting earlier. You could hear the little tiny bits of ice clicking against the window. And it was kind of relaxing. Because it wasn't a harsh sound at all. It was really light and quiet, but you could hear it. This is something that you could use a small concealer brush for if you wanted to, and that can give you more precision than your fingertips. But this is my preferred method. Okay. I also experience redness on the sides of my nose, and it's just unavoidable for me, but concealer helps a little bit on the tip of my nose too. So I apply just a little bit around here. It's funny how silly we look temporarily when we're applying makeup, all in an effort to look beautiful. But I guess that's the case with most things that end up looking nice. They start out looking like strange and unrecognizable. And then by the end, they're gorgeous. Okay. Wendy. So I'm happy now with my concealer. So my next step is my foundation. Now I'm going to show you two different foundations, and I'm going to show you both of them because I use both of them, but for different purposes. Now for just everyday life, I tend to go for a lighter coverage, just because I don't like very heavy makeup in general, unless it's a special occasion. But for videos, I wear just sort of slightly more makeup than I would if I were just sort of running errands or going to work or whatever. But I want to show you both because one product is for everyday wear and my other one is for when I shoot videos. Now this one is by L'Oreal and it's the Magic Nude Liquid Powder. And I really like this product. It's kind of interesting. It's a liquid and it's very liquidy, but it becomes a powder on your skin. Almost. It becomes kind of powdery and matte. It's very thin, liquidy product, and it goes on pretty sheer, almost like a tinted moisturizer. It's very little coverage, which is what I want day to day. I'm not going to put this one on for you right now because I'm shooting a video. So I'm going to use my video makeup. But I wanted to show you the alternative. And this one is Nude Beige. And it really creates a look like I'm not really wearing makeup, but it still kind of evens things out and does a good job of making my skin appear fresh and smooth. And because it's so liquidy, you have to shake it really well. And I discovered that I really like the sound, so I want to share the shaking sound with you. I like to listen to it when I'm shaking it up when I'm getting ready in the mornings. Here. It's nice. I'm not even sure if you are able to hear that. I can hear it. So this is, I shake it a little bit more violently when I'm just getting ready. But the sound is really nice. Okay. I like this bottle too because it's glass. And I like the shape of it. And how the glass becomes kind of frosted looking as it moves up. Okay. Well, that's enough about this product. But I recommend it for anyone who just likes a light coverage. Okay. Yeah. I can really hear those wind chimes now. This is the foundation I'm going to apply today. Because this is typically what I'm wearing when I shoot my videos. And whereas the square bottle foundation was very minimal coverage, this one's pretty high coverage, which is good when you're on camera and have all different sorts of strange lights pointing at you. So this is Revlon Color Stay, and it boasts that it's a 24-hour wear. This makeup does stay in place for a long time, but I don't recommend pushing it to that 24-hour limit, because it does start to cake up into your pores and into the lines on your face in an unattractive way. That's been my experience anyway. So this is much thicker of a foundation than the other one. The other one's quite thin. So I don't apply very much of this, just because it's pretty concentrated product, so you don't need a ton. And I'm going to apply it with my fingertips, which is what I usually do. And that's mainly because I don't think to buy makeup sponges. And I don't really care for foundation brushes. I don't like the streak effect. I have trouble with it. But I'm not a professional. So, I'm just going to use my fingertips. And actually what I'm going to do is shake the bottle a little bit to get more of the product towards the cap so I don't have to reach in there. Just do a little gentle shake. It should be good. Here we go. So I just kind of, it doesn't pour very well because it's pretty thick. So I just shake a little bit of it out onto my fingertips. Just about that much to start, and if I need more, I'll use it. But I like to dab it between my fingertips. So I'm going to just start applying this. Make sure all my hair's out of my face. So I work in those sort of dots for this as well, the same way I did with the concealer. So I just start doing little sort of fingerprint spots all over my face. And again, I usually am doing this much sort of more quickly and frantically. I'm gonna try and be mindful about that right now, and at least go at half speed, or try to. It's tricky though. Yeah, so I do a kind of combination motion of the patting and a little bit of swiping. Like that. And if you are gonna swipe with your face makeup, just do it in little strokes like that, and over it so that any streaks, lines you create with the swipe, you kind of press out with the patting motion. I really enjoy watching people apply makeup. Not even really for relaxation purposes, because that's just not a big trigger of mine. But I enjoy it because I like watching the transformation take place. I also really like those shows on HGTV that show before and after, like house renovations. And I used to watch the crap out of Trading Spaces. Is that still on? I don't know. So I think I just like before and after things. Okay. So this took about twice the time that it normally does, because I went a lot slower. I typically don't take more than about 15 minutes to apply my makeup when it's just me. Little patting just to make sure everything looks nice and even. Okay. Now you always want your face to match your neck, but this color actually somehow is a really good match for my skin, which is a rare thing to find, I think, for most people. So I don't usually apply past my jawline with this product. With others I do, to create a sort of seamless blend and not have a harsh makeup line. But I won't do that today because this makeup doesn't really require it. It blends pretty well with my natural skin tone. So that is my foundation done. Really didn't take very much. It's just that little bit that I poured onto my fingertips. Just want to press it into my under eyes just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Next step. Now, the next step I usually go for is my cheeks, my blush. I've got several brushes available to me. But I think that I'm going to go with my stippling brush today. Get the stipple effect with my blush. But this is a nice one too. It's really fluffy, and now you've seen these before in my Thrifty Thursday video where I showed you a brush set, and I still use these And they're working great. I'm very pleased with them. That was one of my best Thrifty Thursday purchases ever. But I'm going to skip this brush today because the blush that I want to use is not, did I say blush? The blush I want to use is not a powder blush, but a cream. And I go back and forth, just depending on what I want that day, between powder blush and cream blush, but this is what I'll be using today. So this is Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush. And I think when I bought this, half of the appeal of it was the name, Bouncy Blush. It's very clever marketing, because it worked on me. But I like this product. And this one is called Fresh Pink. And this is an interesting kind of cream blush because it's a cream, but it sort of feels like powder. Sort of. And you can apply this with your fingertips, but I found that when I do that, I lose control of the product a little bit. So I do better with my stippling brush. And then I might blend it a little bit with my fingertips. So let's apply some of this. You may notice that I'm skipping a step that many makeup vloggers don't skip, which is the sort of bronzer contouring. I'm skipping that today because it's not typically something that I really focus on. Because one feature of my face that's kind of a blessing and a curse, depending on how you look at it, is that I have kind of sharp, defined cheekbones, and I don't particularly love that feature of myself, but it is something that a lot of women do try to create with contouring. So for me, I kind of want to do the opposite and play it down a little, so I don't do a lot of bronzer in the cheekbone makeup, I guess. So I'm just going straight for blush today. So, open this up. And I wish you could feel it. If you own this product, then you know what it feels like, but it's strange. It feels kind of almost like a putty, sort of, but it's really soft and smooth and silky. I don't know. Okay. So I've got my stippling brush, and I'm just going to stipple this on very lightly until I get the effect that I want. And I want to make sure to pick up enough product with the brush, because it has such fine little bristles. I think that's pretty good. Okay. going to be going pretty high up on my cheek, starting about here. And I'm going to do a little smile and just work the color into the apples of my cheeks. That's just something I like to do. Okay. So, stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. So it's going on very, very light pink, which is good because you don't want to go too heavy. Sometimes I go a little overboard with my blush, but I don't mean to. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. So that's just kind of a soft, delicate pink. And for my own life, for my taste, this actually is plenty. But it's not showing up in the video quite as well as it does in life, so if I were shooting a video, I would add a little bit more than what I would add, or than what I would apply for just day-to-day life. So we'll do a little bit more stippling. Stipple, 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 stipple. Okay. I'm going to blend that a little bit so it's not quite so pink. Just do a little pressing with my fingertips. Bring it up over here a little bit. And that gives kind of a rosy, flushed look. I'm gonna do the other side now. Okay. Here we go. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. 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 Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Okay. So now I want to blend this out a little bit too. So now I'm starting to look a little bit more alive. And I've done my stippling. I know some of you like stippling also. I'll do a little bit more on you now. Why not? Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, stipple, stipple. a general rule, don't share your makeup brushes. It's not very hygienic, but I think we're close enough to be able to share, don't you? Okay. It seems silly to have all these brushes around me and not do a little bit on the camera. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is my eye makeup. This is the fun part. Now, I usually start with, what do I start with? My eyeshadow. And then I move on to eyeliner. And then mascara last. So, the look I usually do with my eyes is very, very, very basic. I usually don't go too crazy. I use one of these cream shadows. There's a white, shimmery one right here. And I use that as a base for my eyeshadow. And this might be loud when I open it. I don't know where I got this. I think my friend left this at my apartment. And then I just kept it. Because I don't remember purchasing this, to tell you the truth. But I use it all the time, and she hasn't seemed to notice. There we go. So the inside's a little used up. But there's a sort of shimmery white right here that I swipe across my eyelids, just using my fingertip. Okay, now I'm just going to swipe a little bit of this across my eyelid, and that's going to be a sort of shimmery light base for the other eyeshadow that I'm going to apply. Now, applying my eyeshadow is a pretty important step in my makeup routine because I have what I think they call something of a monolid. I think that's what they call it. Basically what that means, I'm gonna try and, I'm a little lopsided right now with the colors, but I'll just look straight on and show you. You don't see a lot of my actual eyelid when my eyes are just open like this. It's kind of there, but it's not as sort of hooded and defined as some people's. And that's not something that is bad, but I like to create a more, slightly more, I guess, sunken look to my eyelid, if that makes sense. And so, eyeshadow is a way that I kind of create the illusion that I have slightly more hooded eyelids than I do. Now this isn't a complete monolid, I don't think. I think for it to be true monolid, you wouldn't really see any of this. When my eyes were open, you would just see my lash line and then this space up here. And I'm not 100% certain that that's the correct term. I might have made that up in my mind. Let me know, actually, in the comments if you know what it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna pat a little bit more of this along my eyelid. I don't like to go all the way up to my brow. I like to go a little bit past the crease of my eyelid, but not all the way touching my eyebrow. That's just personal preference. Okay, I'm done with this product for now. The next thing I'm going to do is set this, because it's a cream and not a powder. I'm going to set it with a light colored powder eyeshadow. And I'll show you my amazing color palette that I use I'll use it forever if I can. It's incredible. This is, oh, very reflective. I can see the ring light. Oh well. This is the 120 Colors Palette Eyeshadow by BH Cosmetics. And I purchased this online. And as you can see, it is just filled with colors. Now, all of these are just one layer. There's another palette underneath this one, which doesn't get as much use because it's a lot of really sort of bright neon colors, and I tend to stay in the more like neutral families, the browns and the golds and grays and blacks, and a little bit of pink or purple now and then. But I adore this palette. It's just got every color that I could ever want. And it's wonderful. So I think I'm going to take this kind of beigey white color and use this to set the cream shadow on my eyes. And this is a little bit shimmery too. And you can use a brush for this, but I'm going to use my fingertips because I'm just a big rebel. And it's very shimmery. I'm not sure if you can tell. So I'm just going to pat this over the cream shadow. And I'll maintain that shimmer, but just sort of set the product in place so it doesn't grease up too much in my eyelid. And that is a hazard you'll face with cream shadows, is they'll get kind of creasy on your eyes, so it's good to set them if you don't want that to happen. And you certainly don't have to to set them with another eyeshadow, you could use a translucent powder or pressed powder. That would do the job as well. Okay, so I'm done with this for now. I actually might be done with it altogether for today. I think I am. So, I've got my light, sort of light-colored, shimmery base, but I'm not going to leave it like this. What I like to do is take a matte brown eyeshadow and work it into the crease, and that's going to create that look that I so desperately covet. That sort of hooded eyelid, kind of sleepy, sultry kind of look. If that makes sense. And this is the proper brush to achieve that. This is just a sort of fluffy blending brush, and this is from Sephora. I've had it for a long time. It might be time to replace it, but it's still serving me pretty well. It's very, very soft. It's good to sort of regularly shampoo your brushes, and conditioning them is good too. It makes them a little softer. So, what you do with this one is just pick up the product, tap off whatever the excess is, and just kind of squish it around, for lack of a more professional term, in your crease back and forth to create a blended shadow. I don't try not to do any dramatic harsh lines unless I'm doing something special or something. So this is my favorite brown eyeshadow. You may have seen that there is one in my big color palette, but I much prefer this one. This is a Bedhead product, which is a brand of TG products. If you're familiar with the Tony and Guy hair salon chain, that's where TG products are from. And Bedhead is one line of their products. And I really love this eyeshadow. This is slightly more costly. This isn't really a drugstore brand, but it's worth it because these Cyber Optic eyeshadows are extremely pigmented, so it takes very, very little to create a very dramatic color. It even says pigment packed eyeshadow, and they're not lying. So as you can see, I've used this a pretty decent amount. And this is really matte brown. And for that sort of eye contouring effect, you want a matte brown or a matte shade rather than a shimmery one. I don't know exactly why that is, but I know that it's true. It seems to make sense. I have one other of these, and it's a really deep kind of shimmery eggplant purple. And I love it. I don't use it very much, but I really do love almost kind of reddish purple. Okay, so I'm just going to very lightly sort of drag the brush across the eyeshadow just to pick up some of the product, but I want to tap off or blow off some of the excess. Technically, it's not hygienic if you're a makeup artist working on a client to blow your brushes. So, the professional thing to do is to tap. But if it's just you at home, then blowing works fine. So that way we don't go too heavy with the color, especially because that particular eyeshadow is very pigmented. Okay, so I'm just going to sweep this through, oops, I bumped it, through the crease of my lid, like so. Just do kind of a back and forth motion. And that kind of distributes it in my crease, but also slightly above and even slightly below, without putting eyeshadow over my whole lid. And I like to do kind of a circular brushing motion out in the corner, and then soften out the line. You can just do a little bit of smudging with your fingertip like that. And I usually just start with about this much because this is a nice look without being too heavy and too dramatic, but I like that it creates that illusion that my eyelid is kind of droopy and sleepy. I don't know if droopy is the correct word here, but you know what I mean. I'm going to do the same on my other eye. Tap off excess. Or blow. And again, just sort of drag it within the crease in back and forth motion. And I like to wiggle the brush a little bit like that too. And there's that circular motion again. And I'll sort of check to make sure it's even on both sides. And I like the sort of dual color effect that happens with the matte brown and the shimmery light base that I applied first. And that is really plenty. I usually don't go much more than this, if at all. And it changes the look of my eye, I think, semi-dramatically, but I don't look like I'm covered in makeup, which is a plus. So the next thing I do is my eyeliner. And most of the time in my videos, what you guys see is a liquid line on the top that wings out slightly. And I've been using this Maybelline Master Duo liquid liner, and it's just black. And you shake it. And what's interesting, I'll try and show it to you. What's interesting about the little wand on here is the shape of it. It's, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this really. It comes to a little round shape at the tip, if you can see that. And that's for if you want you'll place it flat against your eye if you want a kind of a thick line, or you can turn it on its side and use the edge for a very thin, precise liquid line. So that's cool. They give you the option. So I shake it up. I'm actually almost out of this. I'm gonna need to go get some more. And I may not even have enough. Let's see. I hope I do. And I actually normally start on the outside and create a line. It's hard to explain, I'll just show you. Try and describe it. So I start around here, wherever I want my point to stop. If I want it out here, then I would start way out here. But I like to keep it pretty subtle and start right about there. So I draw just a very small diagonal line from that point to my lash line. And that's sort of my guide. And then I come over here, right about the middle of my lid, and I draw. I start flush against my lash line, and then draw a line that sort of comes out to meet this triangle that I've created and sort of fill in the space. I'll try and show you what I mean. So now I've created kind of a triangle shape on my lid that I need to fill in, because I like it to be a little bit thicker on the outside. Now sadly, I'm learning that I'm just about out of this product. I'm figuring that out right now. But I'm going to do my best with what I've got to work with. Which isn't much, so this is when we improvise. Let's see if I can just get a little bit more. Nope. That's gone. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a makeup MacGyver moment and do a little makeshift eyeliner using the black cream that's in here and this very pointy thin angle brush. I'll show you. So this is just a cream shadow right here, and I'm going to pick up some product on the edge, create a nice sharp little line, a nice edge with my gonna do the same thing. Just fill in that triangle. And that's it. I don't always go all the way over to the inner corner. I do sometimes if I want a slightly heavier look, but lately I haven't been doing that so much. So now we're going to do the same on the other side. And I'm going to get it as even as I can. Start right about here where I want my point to come to a stop. Now this is slightly less precise than before because it's a brush and not a pen, but it will do the trick. So then I'll come about here, flush against my lash line, and draw myself a little triangle. There it is. So I've got that triangle shape now that I want to fill in with the black. Okay. I'm going to thicken this one slightly so that they're even. Okay. So that's pretty decently even now. Because I went with a cream shadow as the liner, I now need to add an extra step that I wouldn't need to do if it were a liquid liner. But remember how that cream shadow tends to move around. Now I'm going to want to set this with a black eyeshadow on top so that it stays in place. So I'm going to grab the very darkest black from my little color palette, and let's see. Just get that on my brush, tap off a little bit, and that should be plenty. And I'm gonna have to wash this or clean this brush off really well because this is also my eyebrow brush and I don't want any black eyeshadow going onto my eyebrows. It's not a flattering look for Allie. Okay. So just setting that cream liner with a powder shadow so that it stays put and it looks slightly more defined. Okay. So I'm pleased with this effect so far. And I've got a little wet baby wipe that I'm going to use to try and get all the black off of this little brush because now I need it for my eyebrows. Really want to try and get all that black off. Just difficult because it's a dark likes to stay where it is. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm gonna dry this on my towel a little bit. Okay, so no black is coming off. That's good. So, I'm going to use the same matte brown shadow. You'll learn as I do more of these makeup videos that I use. I'll use one product for many different things. That's just how I do it. So I'm going to use this as my liner on the bottom lashes. Because I'm a sort of fair-skinned, fair-haired person, I typically don't want to do a lot of super dark liner on the bottom, unless I'm going for kind of a smoky, dramatic look. But for just day-to-day and for my videos, it's best to keep it looking fairly natural. So I'm just getting a little bit of the matte brown on my angle brush, and I'm going to apply a very soft brown line to my lower lashes. I actually usually skip this step when I'm just getting ready for my day, but for my videos I usually add a little eyeliner. So I'm going to start on the outer corner and just sort of work in a little bit. And this is going to be just at my lash line, just below it. It's going to be a very soft little line. Not too heavy or smudged looking. And I won't go all the way to the other corner of my eye, but almost. And just bring it out slightly from the corner. Just like that. Very, very subtle. Okay, on the other side. I'm using very small, quick little strokes. Just putting the slightest soft brown line. Okay, pretty simple. Now, once more, I'll be using the matte brown and my handy angle brush, which has been so useful today. And I'm going to very, very lightly sort of extend and fill in my eyebrows just a little bit. It's really easy for me to go overboard because this is not a product really meant for brows, but I like the color. It just does what I want it to with my eyebrows, so I use it anyway. But I have to be very careful and use a very light hand, or it will look fake and drawn on. That's not what I want. So I don't go too heavy on my brows. I have very naturally light eyebrows that don't really extend past here. Yeah, you can see that it gets pretty sparse right here, so I like to fill this in a little bit, but not a lot. So I usually start in the corner, or not the corner, but around my arch, and just sort of feather out a little tiny bit of color. And then go back and fill in this part. So just some light, soft strokes. Just to bring my eyebrows out a little bit past where they naturally grow. And I like this to be pretty subtle. So I'll even sort of smudge it a little bit with my pinky. And then I come in and just fill in some of the lighter areas and kind of push the powder up into my brows, like that. I will sometimes comb my eyebrows or brush them with a spoolie, but I skipped that part today. Okay, so you can see it's just barely darker and barely more defined, a little bit fuller on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this side. A challenge that I have with my brows is that they are asymmetrical. And so I struggle to get them to match perfectly. It's an issue that I have always had, but we can only do our best and nothing more. Yeah, you see they're just different shapes on my face, slightly. But such is life. Right, and that is about as even as they're going to get, I'm afraid. Okay. Now, this is where I apply my mascara. And I haven't always used one of these, but I've started to recently, and I kind of like the effect. This is an eyelash curler. And I'm going to use it to just kind of curl my lashes up a little bit. And I just like the look it gives. I'm one of those people that has really light colored eyelashes. They're almost blonde. So when I'm not wearing any mascara, it looks like I don't really have long lashes or even lashes at all. So mascara really is a good thing for me. I just tend to look a little bit more feminine when I wear it. I guess most people do. Anyway, so I'm going to curl my lashes and then apply some mascara. So I'm getting close. So I'm just going to wiggle my lashes in here and press together. And I usually hold here for about 5 seconds. 3, 4, 5. And you can't really tell a difference right now, but I can. Now I'll do this side. I'll press, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. my favorite mascara. And I would probably continue to buy this mascara even if I was super wealthy and could afford to spend $50 on mascara. I'd probably still buy this kind because I love it. It's the Maybelline's Falsies Volume Express. And I get the very, very black mascara because I just like really dark lashes. And I just bought this today. So this is a brand new tube. So I'll show you my little mascara tricks and techniques. It's kind of a cool sound. I like that little pop sound. I shouldn't do this really because you're not supposed to pump your mascara like that because it lets it kind of, I'm not sure, I think it lets a lot of oxygen into the product, which can make it kind of clumpy on your lashes. So I'll just take the excess off the tip of the mascara brush. I'll start here. Now what I do is I try and get the wand as close to the base of my lash line as possible. And I keep my eyes open and I just wiggle the brush back and forth. And that will get the mascara, the most mascara off of the brush, and also help to kind of separate your lashes a little bit. Another thing that I do that not everyone does, but I always like to do it, is to go down the back of my lashes too. I coat the front and the back, and the front and the back. You have to be careful with that technique though, because you can get a little mascara on your lid if you do it that way. And I kind of push my lashes towards the inside instead of towards the outside to create kind of a more open eye and create more length. Now I am not blessed with very, very, very long lashes, so I like this product because it's the best one I've found for kind of creating the illusion of long lashes. That's my curse. I was born with sort of short blonde eyelashes. So if I'm not wearing mascara, it almost looks as though they're not even there. Okay, so you can see a pretty dramatic difference from this side to this side. Okay, let's go for the other side now. I like that sound. There it is. Okay, now this side. So I'll just situate it down at the very bottom of my lashes and wiggle and zigzag like that. And then pull up, zigzag up, go down the back of my lashes and kind of roll it out. And up and down. Up, up, up. And down. We all have a mascara face. If you wear mascara, you know what I'm talking about. You have one. I have one. Your mom has one. Every person you know who wears mascara has a mascara face. Okay, and I'm going to push these lashes sort of inward, like this. Yeah, this isn't perfect separation, but it's not bad. Okay, now I want to get a little bit of the excess product off of the brush, because I don't want too much at this point. And I'm going to do my lower lashes. I'm going to do them carefully and with a light hand. So same thing, I'm just going to wiggle, but very lightly. And I don't always do this, but for videos I like to, because it just kind of opens up my eye a bit more and creates kind of a dull eye. So very light. And I'm just barely touching my lashes very, very, very softly with the brush, because that's plenty. Because the lashes on your lower lash line are so fine, and there aren't as many. I usually take a little bit off. Okay. So this is almost complete. The last thing I'm going to do is my lips. Now this is really, really, really simple. Sometimes I wear lipstick. I often don't. But when I do, it's still a shade that's very close to my natural lip color. Because I happen to kind of like my natural lip color, so. But what I'm going to use right now, and we'll see how it looks, is just good old Carmex cherry chapstick. And I like the Carmex kind, not the chapstick brand, because it has kind of a minty ingredient of some kind, which I feel like kind of maybe makes my lips look a little fuller, because there's some, I don't know, something mentholy or minty, almost irritating my lips, if that makes sense. It sounds kind of bad, but it makes for a plumper lip. So, I'm actually almost out of this. And I'm just going to apply a little bit and see how I like it. And I like to use Carmex because it gives almost a light glossy look, but without being really glossy. So it's kind of a sheen, and I like that. And that's it. And I think that that is pretty satisfactory. I would shoot a video like this. I do have a lipstick here. It's very, very sort of peachy shade. It's really close to my natural lip color. It's just got a little shimmer. And this was a Christmas present from one of my best friends. And I love to wear it actually, but not all the time. So I think think for today I'll skip it. And just go with the chapstick, which is pretty much my go-to. Okay, so that is pretty much it. That's my everyday and typical video makeup routine. And before we part, I wanted to leave you with one more tip that I like. One of the first things I do, usually before a video, and definitely if I really want to look my best, if I have somewhere important to be, or if I need to impress anybody, one trick that I have learned is to use, I've got this. This is just regular Visine for contact wearers, which I am a contact wearer. But what you really want to use is some eye drop product that reduces redness in your eyes. And the reason for that, the reason that it's a good little trick if you're going on a date, or you have an important meeting, or you want to impress your boss, or anything like that, there's some sort of biological wiring within our minds that when we see another human with very clear white eyes, without any kind of redness or yellowy tint, our brains, but without us even realizing it, see that person as a sort of, I don't know, in a romantic situation, we'll see that person as a more attractive mate. In a non-romantic situation, that person may just look a little bit more trustworthy, like you can put your confidence in them. So it's kind of a little brain hack. So if you're getting ready for a big date, put in some redness reducing eye drops, and it'll create a really sort of healthy look that you wouldn't normally think about. And I like that. It's kind of a neat little trick. It's like a hack. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this first tutorial Tingles, and I would really love to hear your feedback about whether or not this was, first of all, relaxing and tingly, and if you found it helpful, if you learned anything. Yeah, so tell me in the comments if this video did anything for you, because this is still pretty new for me. So just let me know, and also feel free to leave requests for the next tutorial Tingles video, and maybe I will get to do that next time. Okay, well, I hope you guys sleep well and have a good night, and I'll be seeing you again very soon. Good night. So nothing about the format of that is going to change. The voting will still happen as it always does. And I do have a topic in the works for the next one. So, Time Travel Tuesday has become Time Travel Tingles.